RLV Landing Experiment, RLV, Reusable Launch Vehicle. Imagine this rocket. Rockets, we term it as launch vehicle. As the rocket moves out, yes, what happens? There are stages. If it's a PSLV, let us consider from our perspective. PSLV comprises of 4 stages. GSLV comprises of 3 stages. One by one, the stages will fall down, isn't it? They will fall down and finally only this part will be launched. Anyway, all these stages that are falling down, the entire cost that we have utilized for the making of the launch vehicle, that means what? They are going in waste. They are going into the Pacific Ocean. They are going into the Point Nemo of the Pacific Ocean. Do you remember about the Point Nemo? Yes, they are now not any kind of use. They're not having any kind of use. They are getting some kind of, they have become now what? Debris. And this debris, either they will keep on orbiting if they have escaped the velocity, if they have achieved the escape velocity, or another part is that they will fall back down to the earth at the Point Nemo. So it's a cost. It costs a huge amount of money, and this is why now our scientists, it's not only our, but the entire scientists have thought about the uses, if it's possible, regarding the reusable launch vehicle. If you can reuse this rocket, if you can reuse the launch vehicle, if it is possible, then it will be a wonder. There will be less cost. Within less cost, we will be able to do a multiple number of space related experiments. And with respect to India, from India's perspective, if you say, our experiment, we call it as RLV-TD, Technology Demonstration by ISRO, isn't it? We call it as RLV-TD. So this TD, when it's included with RLV, please remember it's the experiment by ISRO, right? Now ISRO is trying to make the landing experiment. One is the flight, then the land. So ISRO is trying to do experiment of the launch vehicle regarding its landing. So you see, this landing experiment, it's of course unmanned, no human will be there, and some kind of winged prototype. That means some kind of flight-like structures have been made, and it is being taken to an altitude of 2.3 to 2.4 kilometers with the help of a copter, with the help of a helicopter, and then they are released. They are released at the DRDO airstrip at Karnataka. At that point, they are released, and this experiment has been done. So RLV, reusable launch vehicle, since it's coming in the news, please read it, know the basic things, as well as we also need to know about the launch vehicles as well of our country, that especially ISRO has made, right? And I hope you remember the Indo-Russian conflict that was also present, that is related to cryogenic technology. Do you remember the conflict of India and Russia related to cryogenics? Yes. Entire thing is important, so please go and recall and revise the thing. Yes, so these are some kind of information. As of now, the entire, all these things are not that important as it is released, how much, at what velocity they will do, how they will be maintained. It's just for your information. I have put it in the PPT. It is being said that parachute will also be deployed for its landing. So all these things are not that important from the perspective. Okay, you just need to know the basic concept of RLV-TD that is done by ISRO. Next, diabetes. Every one of us know what is diabetes. It was in news because it has been found in a report, Landslide Diabetes and Endocrinology. It's a kind of magazine, okay? In that Science magazine, which is related to this diabetes as well as problems related to endocrinology, it has been found that the Indians now they are having very poor control of blood sugar in the body, right? Indians now, if you see, every now and then you will find numerous numbers of diabetic patients. That means diabetes, we call it as some kind of this increased amount of blood sugar, hypertension, all these kinds of things, we call it as lifestyle disease because of some kind of changes in our lifestyle, because of some changes in the food and all this entire and external environment. What is happening, we are inducing some kind of diseases into ourselves. Of course, diabetes, it's also related to some kind of genetic things. But if you see from the previous years up till now, as time is passing more and more, these diseases are also increasing. So our Indians are very much poor in controlling of blood sugar, and this is the data that has been given. Only 7% have of the Indians have been able to achieve control in the blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol. People that are detected with this lifestyle diseases of blood sugar, blood pressure, and cholesterol, out of the entire people, only a very few amount of them have been able to meet the target. That means they have been able to keep it in a balanced condition. How to keep it in a balanced condition? Of course, we need to take proper medication, point number one. And second point, can you tell me how can we keep all these things under control? So basically, a proper diet, right? A proper diet, a proper balanced diet, as well as exercise. Very, very important. Earlier, in early period of time, earlier people used to do heavy kind of work, isn't it? But now people are having their own vehicles. Hardly people will think about going some kind of walk. Exercise is very, very necessary for our body, right? And this is also important nowadays. More amount of so many kind of things have been opened. We are more into the junk foods. We are more into some kind of artificial things. We love drinking soft drinks. We love drinking tea and coffee that is machine made, containing high amount of sugar. How many of you agree with me? Yes, all this machine made things containing high amount of sugar, if you were taking them, if you were not following proper diet, right, obviously you will face these problems, isn't it? Anyway, coming to diabetes symptoms, we all know frequent urination, increased thirst, increased appetite, this kind of things will be there, isn't it? And we all know why diabetes is being caused. It's mainly because the pancreas, islets of Langerhans of pancreas are being affected, right? As they are not being able to produce enough insulins. Yes, either they are not being able to produce enough insulins, or sometimes the cells do not respond to the amount of insulins that are being produced. So in this way, insulin is a peptide hormone, right? Insulin is a peptide hormone which keeps the control of the blood sugar, right? And if the insulin are not being produced in the body properly, or if our body is not being able to respond to the produced insulin in our body, then of course what will happen? Automatically blood sugar will rise. And if you remember, we discussed about these types of diabetes: type 1, type 2, and gestational diabetes. I told you gestational diabetes is faced by pregnant women, isn't it? They are experienced by the pregnant women just during their pregnancy, during the period of their pregnancy. Once they deliver, automatically the diabetes, the condition will subside. But one thing you need to remember is that these women are not completely free from the disease. There is a high chance, high probability that in upcoming days, they will face the type 2 diabetes. Right? Type 2 diabetes, which is seen in the adults. Here, our body, the adult body is not being able to make enough insulin. So type 2 diabetes, which is seen in the adults. Yes, or sometimes what happens, even though if the insulin is being made, the cells are not, our body is not responding it in a proper manner. And then we have the type 1 diabetes, which is caused in case of the children. Do you remember anything significant about type 1 diabetes? It's a autoimmune disorder. Type 1 diabetes, which is found in children, is a autoimmune disorder. Autoimmune disease or autoimmune disorder means our body cells are attacking the pancreatic cells, which are making the insulin. Yes, the beta cells. The beta cells of the pancreas, they make the insulin. If our normal body cells are attacking continuously this beta cell, what will happen? They will not be able to produce insulin, and this is what we refer it to as autoimmune disorder. So type 1, type 2 gestational diabetes.